Greetings and welcome back to The Booth, the first and only podcast dedicated solely to WVU women's basketball. I'm Chad Atkins, and I have the extreme pleasure of being joined by the voice of the WVU women's basketball team, Andrew Caridi, and Shane Terrell's here too.
And me.
We're recording in the basement bar booth of Mario's Fishbowl Suncrest on University Avenue in Morgantown, West Virginia, home of the world-famous Fishbowl.
And my favorite part.
Yeah, this is my favorite part, sir. Go on.
Forgive the water bottle.
Well.
All right. Before we start rolling, I want to give a shout out to our title sponsor, Tri-County Electric. They specialize in electrical services for large-scale commercial, institutional, and industrial projects. As an electrical service contractor, they design and construct power distribution and data communication systems in diverse and complex environments, including healthcare, manufacturing, and biotech facilities. They also handle heavy industrial and hazardous locations, in addition to private and public sector environments. Visit pinline.com/services/Tri-County Electric or call 724-887-9110 for more information. All right. Thank you, Tri-County. We really appreciate your sponsorship. It's been a great season. Looking forward to the postseason with you guys. All right. Well, Andrew, welcome to the booth. Thank you for coming. Yeah, we've been hassling you all year at the Coliseum. We really appreciate you coming.
Well, I think the timing works out now, right?
Yeah, it's perfect. It's perfect for the preview here coming up for the tournament. But we don't talk just straight X's and O's here. We like to get to know, our guests. So, I mean, you grew up in a media family here. I mean, you were born and raised here in Morgantown, correct?
Indeed.
You are a Morgantown boy, WVU graduate.
Yeah, first since Jack Fleming, by the way.
Really?
Yeah, I did some research on some play-by-play guys to come in who've done some WVU stuff, and I was like, has there ever been a Morgantown guy, Jack Fleming? That's a fun fact. My dad.
So, do you expect to be the voice of the Steelers here soon?
Probably not. I think no. I think Rob King just got that job from him.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah, he's probably hooked on that for a while.
Yeah. But I mean, you had the influence obviously growing up. When did you know and when did you start actually doing it?
Yeah, probably high school is when I sort of started to figure out, I started watching sports, been around it forever, right? So I knew what it was, but in high school, I was trying to figure out.
Was it focused on sports? I mean, just media in general?
For sure. Yeah, for sure. Because my dad was always on me, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Because he was always a type A ambitious person. So I was like, okay, definitely thinking about it, I think, faster than a lot of kids would. But I just started watching sports, specifically hockey, in high school. And I was like, okay, Mike Emmerich, he's retired now, but he made games really exciting. Loves watching that. And I was like, okay, I'm decent at vocab, like spelling. Get excited for sports. So you put two and two together and then, shocker.
But are you sure that you've never done anything before that, like in the Jinglesphere?
Yes, in the Jinglesphere. Yes, I was recruited for the shoe story.
Yes.
Yeah, I got a lot of stuff for that from our classmates in the day. I didn't really understand what it was, but I guess
I heard you got an Xbox out of it.
I did get an Xbox out of it.
Yes,
that's right.
All right. How old are you and your brother?
I don't even remember. Pre-middle school, probably. I don't know, 3rd, 4th, 5th grade.
Yeah. So, how did it go?
You still story.
The shoe story. Be sweet to your kids' feet. Don't be shy. Just stop on by. Yeah.
Awesome.
You probably didn't think that was going to come up, did you?
No, I didn't. No, you guys did your research. Yeah, that's crazy.
I'll tell you how I get that. I'll tell you how I got that. Well, after we get done recording here. Now, you cover the baseball too. Mm-hmm. You're the voice for them too. Mm-hmm. Who all else do? What all do you do?
Football pregame, postgame for the football broadcasts and halftime. So that pregame show and everything, and then that's the fall. So my fall is that plus freelance and some women's soccer and men's soccer when it opens up. Winter is some of the non-conference men's games on TV. And then women's basketball
through ESPN Plus,
and then women's basketball on the radio, and then spring is purely baseball and a lot of it. Yeah, and then June and July is open, chill a little bit, and it all starts again.
I mean, we were talking about. Go ahead.
Yeah. So my question is, you've cover probably just about every sport, right?
Close to it,
So
yeah.
what's the hardest to do? Because in my mind, I was like, I don't know, hockey would be hard. I feel like because it's so fast.
So with fast-paced sports, they do the work for you. You can always describe what you see.
right,
Baseball was really freaking hard when
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
first
and-
started doing
I mean,
And
pardon my French, but you kind of got to have diarrhea in the mouth a little
Yeah,
bit there. You just
yeah.
got to constantly.
No,
just-
and that's what the coffee's for during the game. Right? I just start yapping, and frankly, there is a huge advantage of having a advantage of a relationship with my color announcer, Jake
Yeah.
Whitehorse. We get along on like a personal,
yeah,
like, friend
so
level.
that's got to help.
Yeah, so we can pal around a little bit, and
It's
that's
I mean, it's almost as well. It's probably about as long as the Joe Rogan podcast. Basically, it's like a Joe Rogan podcast where they're watching a baseball game and talking about.
yeah.
it.
I would say a bad baseball team is the hardest thing to do, but the problem is haven't had a bad baseball team since I've been doing it on the radio.
Hell, that's-
We've had quite the opposite. We've won a lot of freaking games.
Yeah, which is great.
Yeah.
Which is great.
yeah, you've kind of been involved in growth of our baseball team and the women's basketball team.
Yeah, I got
It's
in
sort
at a good
of,
time.
You got
You
in at a
did.
good
Yeah.
time. Yeah.
You did. What's that been like to have a lot more attention drawn on those sports for you? I mean,
Yeah, unbelievable, man. It's a lot of fun, and they deserve it. You see all the work that goes into it, but I mean, for example, baseball, obviously, first conference championship, super regional
Yeah.
last year, literally the best 2 seasons back to back, and then women's basketball. You're getting 5,000 people to come to games now.
it's great.
So
it's great.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
deserve it. And
See-
we're doing a Olympic sports podcast too.
Yeah, I saw that over at
Mountain State.
Yep.
Yeah, and so and I know those coaches are really appreciative of getting them some limelight because our Olympic sports are really good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Men, think about it. Men's soccer team went to a college cup a little bit ago. Wrestling is ranked. So on and so forth. Golf going to the NCAA
Yep,
championships,
yep.
like all that stuff. So it's been good and they deserve it.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Good
agree.
timing. How does just speaking strictly, I guess, of women's basketball, how do you see, since you travel with the
Mhm.
team, how do you see it compared, or WVU compared to a lot of the other schools that we're going to? I mean, clearly there's some that have a
Iowa
bigger
State.
attendance, but
Yeah.
in general, we're pretty up there.
Oh, we're up there with everybody now.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I would say so. Like first year started doing it. You go to Iowa State. Ames is a difficult place to play, and we'll get into this a little bit. But top 15 team in Kansas State goes there for a top 4 finish in the Big 12. They can't get it done. They lose by almost 20 or maybe
Yeah.
20 points
Yeah.
exactly. I think Ames was the hardest place to play. Is top 2 if you have 1A, 1B, but then the Coliseum is now up there.
Really?
Nice.
Really?
Yeah,
nice.
yeah. I mean, and I know TCU finished the home schedule undefeated 9-0. They were the only other team. But I think if you're talking like environment, it's more.
Yeah.
They were up there.
It's
Yeah.
Morgantown. So yeah, Coach Kellogg and the way he plays.
Well,
I
they
think
have
is-
that optical illusion. I asked JT this last week. I
Oh,
was like,
TCU.
yeah. Is it as annoying to play on the court as it is for us to watch them
It
play
hurts.
on the
It
court?
hurts my eyes.
Yeah, yeah.
I think for a lot of the girls, yeah, there's a lot going on when you're looking at
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
If you're not used to it, it's not
Yeah.
pretty, in my opinion. But that's subjective. So
Oh, well, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, probably the only people who like it are down
TCU,
at-
yeah, and that's their thing. So hey,
That's a weird thing to have. But anyways, talking about, I mean, we're getting into the Big 12 standings now. I mean, basically, besides the TCU Baylor, that's not wrapped up yet.
Mhm.
But besides those seeds, number 1 and 2 seed, they're wrapped up. We finished with number 4 because, like you said, that K-State loss in Iowa State. I was
Mhm.
praying. I was praying
Yeah,
for that. That
yeah,
was a
yeah.
big one.
I had a feeling Iowa State was
Yeah,
gonna get it done.
yeah. Especially
yeah.
without Lee.
Yeah, I was gonna say she didn't play today. did she?
Yeah. No. They basically said she's out
Yeah.
to the NCAAs.
Yeah,
So
I
she
mean,
will not be in the tournament. And now, since they're the 5th seed and we're the 4th seed, we'll be playing the winner of the K-State and the smaller.
Wow. Okay, that makes things interesting. Yeah,
Yeah.
I know. I know the team. I mean, like any coach will tell you this, but if you were supposed to win 3 games in 3 days to win it, like, that's so hard to do, especially like 4-4, if not impossible. So us getting that bye is phenomenal. Now it was kind of an outside chance looking in if we could go the whole way, not only because the teams are so good, but because how tired you're going to be. So I know the coaching staff's got to be fired up.
Oh,
Yeah.
Like huge. And now home court's in play. If you make a deep run, in the Big 12 tournament, right?
that was one of my questions. I mean,
yeah.
how far do you think WVU has to make a run to get one of those top 4 seeds?
That's a great question. I don't know. Yeah, for a top 16 seed to host, I don't know. I don't know how the committee looks at that or values tournaments. Sometimes, like, I feel like the only thing that they really value, like if you get to a championship game, and this is my opinion, I could be totally wrong. If you get to a championship game, that does probably only a little, but if you win the title, of a tournament,
You've got
Goes along.
then no, without a question, if you win the Big 12 tournament, you're in. Like you're hosting.
You're a top 4
Yeah,
seed
you're hosting
for sure.
because it's a Power 4 tournament.
Yeah.
So
I'd say that's what we need to do then.
I bet
So, I mean,
I think making it to the championship will be.
it could. I mean,
I-
so that depends on what the other teams are doing. Like we've had some ranked teams lose. You saw, like for example, in the Big 12, you saw some teams go down. If we make it there, then that helps us a lot. I don't think it's a lock. But again, that's above my pay grade to make those decisions.
Yeah.
No one is ever happy. Like no matter where you finish. So.
But you think? I mean, we have been besides the TCU game.
Yeah.
But I mean, especially the last 2 games. The Utah game. I mean, JJ career high. Tied Meg Bolger.
I love looking at Meg's face, by the way, because she was across.
Uh-huh.
She was super nervous, like a really nervous smile the entire time.
You think she wanted her to?
No, no, I don't think she did. No, I was really happy.
She'll
tied.
take
that
her
was-
time. She'll be like,
Yeah.
all right. There's a lot. I saw a lot of huggy photographs at the end.
Yeah, I mean, and
There probably wouldn't have been.
no. There would have been. And
But they've
Meg,
been like, oh, the
Meg
Caridi
would have been
guy.
ecstatic, I'm sure. But these are competitive girls that we're talking about.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So to tie the record, and I think it's cool too, because we're talking about 2 different eras,
Yeah.
like melding. So I think that's the best possible outcome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was. Yeah, talk about a storybook ending to JJ's home. Well, of course, let's hope we get one
Yeah, I was
more
gonna say,
in
no,
game.
I mean,
but,
let's hope. I said
yeah.
potential last home
Yeah.
game, but what was funny is when I first saw her wear those Coal Rush uniforms last year against Baylor in the Blacks, like she looks badass in these. Like, I think she's gonna go off, and she had 33 in that game. And then final home game, I didn't read too much into it, but they do the half court shot
Yeah.
at the end of every shoot around, and she hit her half court shot before the Utah game, and I was like,
It's,
She's,
I got
had
a
the
feeling.
feeling.
Yeah, I got, and she's been playing really well. As
Yeah,
well.
yeah. Her threes have
Yeah.
drastically increased in percentages, and quite honestly, and I know Coach Kellogg has complained about this, the gimmies underneath the bucket. A lot where they're driving to the bucket, they've got a good look, and they come off the front of the rim. They seem to be falling.
Yeah, I mean, I have never seen her more comfortable than in the Cincinnati game this weekend.
Really?
Oh yeah, like the first quarter was like she wasn't even in full gear.
Yeah.
Probably 60-70% and looked super calm. So she's balling right now.
Yeah. I mean, me and Shelly were talking about that watching the game. We were just like, is she going to break the record this
right?
game?
Yeah,
Did that come up? I don't.
24 in the first half. Like I didn't think so because we didn't need her.
Yeah, you think they would be benching her, so put her down?
It puts into perspective how hard it is to get 38, right?
Yeah.
She scored 24 in the first half, and usually I would say 9 times out of 10 that starts to it just doesn't happen in the second half because teams make adjustments. You don't have to you're trying to stay healthy, all that type of stuff. So unless you're Caitlin Clark, where you could maybe get 40 on a whenever.
So I think one takeaway from the end of the season too, I think, is our bench has been playing a lot better.
Yeah,
I think that's going to be important.
Yeah, huge. Sydney Woodley's confident now. She can
Yes.
take it to the basket, and I think surprises teams when she takes it to the basket.
Yeah.
But I mean, confidence more than anything else. And I think she got 9 points, I think, against Utah.
Uh-huh.
So she's just like that, scoring off the bench. And in the first 3/4 of the season, purely defense.
Yeah.
I just didn't think she had it. And then
Yeah.
she realized, I can kind of get around. She's sneaky long, sneaky quick, so she can get to the bucket. And then JT, that was her best game.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
was her
By far.
come out game.
So-
I mean, it was.
Yeah.
It just seemed like she kicked everything up a gear that Cincinnati game.
Mhm.
She was just moving faster,
Yep.
getting bounds.
Yep.
It was like a different gear was reached
Yes.
before,
Yeah.
more than she's done.
And
any
a lot of
other
coaches tell you, end of your freshman year, you're not a freshman anymore.
game. Yeah,
Yeah.
You've played
yeah.
27 games, right?
Yeah.
And I think that was kind of the aha moment for her,
Uh-huh.
and because she got the ability and now put it together. So yeah, that's super important. And you weren't getting that depth
Yeah.
in the early games of
Yeah.
the season of the Big 12.
When we sat down with her, I think one of the things that she kind of alluded to was the game slowed down for her
Yes.
a little bit. It's so fast when you first come out there,
Yeah.
coming out of high school. You're 6'3", so you're normally taller than everybody
Oh,
else.
yeah.
But all of a sudden
Yeah.
now you're like,
Yep.
now I got 6'6", 6'7", so you got to
Yeah.
adapt and change and slow down. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
What was
pretty
your
exciting.
takeaway from that TCU game? Do you think it was just bad shooting? I mean, our D wasn't. I mean, they still got what? They got more than 70, right, in that game? Or they got pushed?
I've got about, I think it was like 70 to 50 something.
Yeah.
I think it finished, but I mean, Coach Kellogg called it a clunker, and sometimes like you got to think about it. Winning is hard. That's a famous quote from him. Sometimes there are games that just don't go your way, man. Like you have to factor in all the pieces that go into winning games. You have to have a lot of things go right to win, and you just didn't have a lot of pieces go right to win in that game, and it happens. You know what I mean?
It notably, Colorado and Arizona this year. I mean, if we had those two games, oh my goodness.
Yeah, we're right up there with everybody.
We would have been battling for the championship.
Yep. We're and that could have changed things completely.
Yeah.
So in hindsight, those were not good. I mean, now it all makes sense. You can accept going out and just not being your day, but then you go into the fourth quarter, like for Colorado, you're up 11, and you lose that game against a team that's what now, like not 500 team in the league, and they're good. Yeah, they're all right.
They're not horrible.
They're all right, but you don't blow a double digit lead in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
That's just
and especially. That's the thing, especially now that there's not a home and away schedule. You know, it was great for them to come here and say, all right, this is really how.
Yeah, I know.
This is our real game.
Yeah, I know when listening to Kai, I think whatever road trip we were on, when we were going to get them next time, like I know that she wanted that one back and they got it back. So.
Yeah. All right. So based on what we had at the beginning of the year, we saw second year, we had a little bit better understanding what was going to happen, but we had a lot of new players that were going to be coming in. What do you give for what your expectations to what they've achieved? What's the grade you got for the team? Do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a pretty simple.
Pretty solid.
Yeah, you were 12-6 in the league last year. You're 13-5 this year. Yeah, I mean, what more could you ask for? Winning is hard, right? So I think we were picked to finish 5th in the league this year. We finished 4th, but it's within 2 wins of the top 2 teams. And like, listen, TCU all has like 26-year-old professionals who are picked to win.
I tell you what, that TCU game when the Van Lith, I've seen it. I was like, whoa, whoa, gun for hire, my goodness,
So that's that.
That girl is good.
Baylor's good too. So yeah, I mean, relative to expectations for a second-year coach to finish as good as you did, same record. So like, how could you not? How could you not call it an A? Like second year sophomore slump is a real thing.
Yeah.
And now you've proved that the first year wasn't
a fluke.
Wasn't a fluke, right?
Yeah.
Sustained success is Kellogg's thing. So yeah, it's an A for me because it seems like things are getting better as the season's going on too.
Yes.
We were kind of like teetering a little bit and not hot at the end. And to be like, you don't really know what you're going to get, but yeah.
I'm hoping. Oh, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, I think they are hitting their stride right now.
I hope they are. You know what I'm saying? Because boy, it sure does seem like it.
Yep.
And it would just be the absolute perfect time if they really are. And that brings up, yes, it's great to have 2 days off, but we are hitting our stride. Do you think, I mean, you always hear about in football getting the bye, you get a bye week. I mean, to have that amount of stretch. I know you talked to a staff member and they said it sure is nice not to have to game for
one more game you don't have to prepare for.
So what was we had a bye. Let me look up the schedule real quick.
Sure.
We had a bye earlier in the year, and I think personally, the way that we play it now, I'm not the coach who demands a lot from them. I kind of more open to kind of give them the benefit of the doubt. But
Right.
Kellogg would tell you hey, that's not an excuse. But I would say when we had that bye, which was, if I can find it real quick, got back from Arizona. Yeah, so the game after the bye week that we had held Oklahoma State, who, by the way, finished 14-4 in the league, held it to 37 points.
Yeah.
So I think it helps us. I think it gives your legs a little freshness, and there's not going to be any flatness because you're playing the Big 12 tournament. You're not in middle of January, just kind of like doldrums of the year going on. Now it's real. Now it's the postseason. So I think it helps us a ton personally, especially the style in which we play. So,
and mostly a neutral court.
That's right. We
mostly.
He asked us about from Kayla too.
Yeah.
Do you think it should rotate at this point? the Big 12 tournament. I mean, like we went last year. It is an awesome venue.
It's a great venue.
It's a great venue to hold it, but Kansas State, Iowa State. That K-State game last year, we were hooting and hollering as loud as we could, but it was still, I mean, it was like K-State. Actually, this guy was sitting in front of us. Could you stop screaming for the K-State guy? It is my daughter. You're affecting my daughter.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I think when you have a coast-to-coast league now, all the way from Florida to Arizona, like you kind of have to have a middle ground. Yeah, it favors some. It favors some teams. Vegas would be cool. I'm not against that, but well, you could get some people out there. Who knows? I mean, like I'm not a big tournament location. Because
it doesn't bother you at all.
I just end up going so many places.
Yeah,
so much, I'm just like, where are we playing? Like next game. I can't speak of it as like a fan. I can only speak of it as, and I know they do a really nice job in Kansas City. So I got nothing to complain about.
Awesome.
Do you have a favorite place you travel to? Like, I kind of look forward to this one this year.
You mean like city area? Yeah. Boulder was really cool. I wish we were out there for a little bit. Arizona was also really nice. Yeah. Tempe was cool, and Tucson's pretty cool too. So it's always nice to get where the weather's warm. That's a positive. And
in the middle of a cold basketball season.
Yeah, and then Manhattan's cool too. I'm sure Salt Lake City was pretty cool. Fort Worth's nice, but Colorado and Arizona State.
I only made one away game, and it was Cincinnati. So
I like their gym. Every time, we've been there twice. I like their gym.
Yeah.
So it seemed really small to me, but I think it's because they kind of had the curtains hanging up and you didn't really see some of it.
It is a small gym, but those are fashionable now.
Yeah,
like TCU, Baylor just got their new arena. That's relatively small. That's fashionable, but Cincinnati's is clean and sharp. Seems like to match their identity. So
yeah. Before we go any further about getting close to wrapping it up, I just want to shout out to our other sponsor, Carpenter Marty Transportation. They can perform traffic impact studies along with the roadway and bridge improvements located in Charleston, West Virginia. Visit cmtran.com or call 304-989-3680. That's cmtran.com or call 304-989-3680 for more information. Thank you, Carpenter Marty. We really appreciate it. Again,
we love our sponsors.
We do. We love them to death. They help us go to Kansas City.
Yeah.
All right. Basically, this is kind of, all right. Anything you want to add about the season before? Because you can't be a homer. You've indicated you can be a homer.
I can be a homer. Yeah. Yeah.
Where do you think? What do you think our chances are of winning the big? I mean, do we have a good shot of this? I mean, what
Big 12 tournament?
Yeah,
it's a hell of a lot better now.
Yeah,
than
last year.
Yes,
even?
Better than last year.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because we didn't have the double bye. I don't think.
No, we didn't. We did.
Yeah. So no, huge. I mean, that's. I don't want to use exponential. That's a little bit dramatic, but we have a realistic chance to win it. I think when you had to play so many games against the top teams on tired legs, that chance becomes less realistic, if we're being honest. And I think the coaching staff would tell you that. But now we got a legitimate look, and I think we'll have an edge carrying if we get TCU Baylor again.
Yeah,
See, that was one thing I brought up. I was thinking in my brain.
Yeah.
We were just talking about how it's a home game for them. It's not a home game for TCU or Baylor. That's almost true. As long as a trip as it is for us.
No, I don't think like they both have really good fans.
Yeah.
But I don't think that they are the type to travel. I could be wrong. Like the way that Iowa State or Kansas State would give you the advantage at the tournament.
Yeah.
That it's substantial.
Right. It was and even us, I'm sorry, but at that, like we would be out in like the Fire and Light, Power Line. We would be out there in our WVU gear, and we got interviewed multiple times because we were the only people with WVU.
It's hard to get out there, man. Yeah. Like it is in the middle of winter. Like people are already planning their vacations like a month from now, or
it's actually way easier this year.
The new flights out of Morgantown. It's just as cheap to fly out of Morgantown as it is Pittsburgh. It was like $320 round trip from Morgantown.
Yeah,
that ain't bad.
That ain't bad at all.
That ain't bad.
That ain't bad at all.
nobody can make excuses.
Yeah, right,
You
exactly.
you can make it there.
And if
The
you're
hotel was 10 times more expensive.
yeah, and honestly, if you can make it out, it's huge. Because we are a home team. I know Kellogg's trying to work out the away kinks. I think neutral will probably help us. I know the challenge to his team will be you guys have to provide the energy, whether it's the bench or the players out there. You know, his whole thing. You had some vocal players like Lauren Fields and Jayla last year who would get the juice up a little bit. It's just not in our personality this year. So we got to find a way to do that, and that's fine. I think we can. I think those last 2 games give us belief. We just have to find a way to gin that up ourselves instead of playing off the crowd.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes. But I think last couple games and the way things happen now, I think that just gives us more confidence.
Yeah.
And then we're already riding on a high. So
Yeah,
we'll see.
All right, our final question before we go. And I don't know if this is a wise decision by the Big 12, but they gave us press credentials.
Oh,
Yes, they did.
good for you guys.
Oh, he says.
It must be pretty easy to get.
They are.
No, it's good. Yeah.
But what advice should you give us for a press conference? They got food in the green room.
They do. Oh, dude, they got
a spread?
Yeah, they got a spread. They and they had some fancy stuff. They had this like canned cold brew coffee. Like they got some really good fancy stuff there. At least for the men's tournament when we were there, and I think women's tournament too. Last year, you guys are going to be living large there.
Nice.
They take care of the media there. If I had a tip, I would say act like you've been there before.
Yeah.
Right? So,
Well, I quite honestly, I'm in media, so that's how I actually know your story about the thing.
Okay,
I'll let you know about that.
Yeah.
But so that was the only thing. We were going to be drunk and debaucherous for the tournament,
Yeah.
and now we're like,
You got to be.
Now
we're
we
going
gotta
to
be,
have to keep it under control. Dang.
Yeah.
Do they allow beer into the press conference?
One way to find out. I don't know. Yeah, no. I mean, like my press.
We're
thing
the
is,
bosses. Our boss says we can drink
listen,
beer.
yeah,
during the press
if you
conference.
guys are in charge of yourself, then
Yeah.
go crazy. It's just
They may not let us back
It
Hell
does
yeah.
see that it says that it could be revoked at any time.
at any time.
I've never seen one revoked, so I think you'd
But
have
you-
to act up.
Yeah, as long as
substantially.
you're not meatheads.
I trust you guys. Yeah,
All right, we're not
we'll be
meatheads.
Yeah.
We haven't spilled onto the court
Yeah, that's good.
because we're like second row right behind home bucket. We
Oh, good.
literally could spill out onto the court.
Okay, good.
And,
good.
and be
Yeah, did you
idiots.
see Woodley got spilled on when she went to go save that ball? Yeah, I know you were in Cincinnati.
Oh, yeah,
she
I
did,
see
yeah.
Without that, and then that was like a whole minute break. where
Yeah, we did
She
watch
was
that.
getting
That
like a
was
water
good.
cup. Like I've never seen that before, which I'm surprised it doesn't happen more often.
Yeah.
No, seriously. I mean, so where our seats are, we're kind of safe. But so how we actually started getting into going to watching the women's games is we got courtside seats, and
Three plets of white.
No,
Plets
yeah.
of white, yeah.
and I don't want to sit there because I got to pay attention too much.
I
Because
know,
I
right?
could,
Yeah.
I don't want to be the ESPN highlight that I got hit in
Yeah.
the face with a basketball
Yeah.
or something, you know. So
I had to make a play of the Cincinnati game because JJ deflected a pass.
oh
and was
yeah,
coming right
yeah, I
for me.
seen
and
it.
I had
Yeah,
to-
That was
Did you
pretty
palm
quick.
it?
I
Yeah,
didn't.
he did. He knocked it
I
away
knocked
pretty
it right
quick.
back.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, I made a nice play on TV.
Yeah, you did. I forgot about that.
A couple of years ago, though, we were doing a men's game, and it was the cleanest sports move I'd ever had. I think one was deflected to me, and I like caught it, swirled it into one hand, and like gave it off.
Just like
Oh,
rolling
yeah.
it out.
And that was-
Harlem Globetrotters.
that was the highlight of my athletic career. So, yeah, huge for me.
Perfect.
All right. Well, before we wrap up, I'm going to go give a shout out to our title sponsor one more time.
Yeah.
Tri-County Electric. They specialize in electrical services for large-scale commercial, institutional, and industrial projects. As an electrical service contractor, they design and construct power distribution and data communication systems in diverse and complex environments, including healthcare, manufacturing, and biotech facilities. They also handle heavy industrial and hazardous locations, in addition to private and public sector environments. Visit pinline.com/services/Tri-County Electric or call 724-887-9110 for more information. Thank you, Tri-County. We appreciate it. It's been a great year. We'll be mentioning you when we head out and cover the Big 12 tournament. But for Andrew Caridi and Shane Terrell, I'm Chad Adkins. Until next time, we'll see you at the Coliseum.